The story begins with a very intelligent boy named Tom who, during his school days, solved a major problem like the Mexican oil spill, astonishing the world's leading oil companies. Before finishing college, he received job offers from the 8 largest oil companies in the world, offering him a salary of $100,000 per year. However, Tom turned down these lucrative offers and instead accepted an offer from a man named Walter Moreland in Spain. His task was to use his sharp mind to open a vault that was considered the most secure vault in the world. The vault contained something that Walter desperately wanted, but for the past 80 years, no one had been able to crack it. Walter introduced Tom to his team. Walter mentioned that he had found a ship that had sunk in the ocean years ago and retrieved a box containing clues to an immense treasure. However, the Spanish government soon discovered this, confiscated all the items Walter found, and locked them in a vault of a Spanish bank. Tom then met Walter's daughter, Lorraine, who was skilled at disguises for their mission. Other team members included Klaus, a brilliant hacker, and James, Walter's right-hand man, who used to be a soldier and was now a formidable fighter. Simon was responsible for acquiring any items the team needed, as long as he was paid. On Tom's first day, the team was having difficulty hacking the bank's system because they needed a code but had no idea what it could be. Tom suggested impersonating the bank's automated voicemail system to get the code from one of the bank's clients. The plan worked, and they got the code, earning Tom praise from the team. The next day, Tom began studying the layout of the Bank of Spain with the team. According to Walter, it was the most secure building in the world, with thousands of sensors and cameras and highly vigilant guards. The biggest challenge was the Spanish Army's headquarters, located right across the street from the bank. If the bank's security alarms went off, 500 soldiers would rush in from the headquarters. Moreover, the bank's security chief was a former commander of Spain's counter-terrorism force. Walter's team had no information about the layout inside the vault, so they had to scan it to gather data. To access the vault, they needed 2 keys and the security chief's fingerprints. The team decided to infiltrate the bank. Tom and Simon posed as janitors, and Lorraine came to inspect valuable paintings and sell insurance for them. The keys were hidden behind these paintings. When the security chief escorted Lorraine to the room, she handed him her coffee, thus obtaining his fingerprints. Afterward, Klaus hacked the bank's cameras, and Lorraine began scanning the painting. Klaus played the footage back at 1/10 speed, allowing Lorraine to open the vault and copy the design of the key. Suddenly, the bank's director arrived, and the cameras were set to resume in 20 seconds. Lorraine had to be in the exact spot she was in earlier, but the director was now in the way. Using quick thinking, Lorraine distracted the director by asking him to take her picture, moving him out of the camera's view just in time. Meanwhile, Tom, disguised as a janitor, had to scan the vault. He believed the actual vault was directly beneath the meeting room. Tom hid under a table and began scanning with his device. Just then, people entered the room for a meeting, trapping Tom under the table, and his scanning device malfunctioned. After some adjustments, Tom managed to get the device working again, and the scan was completed. However, at that moment, an alarm went off, and the security chief locked down the entire bank. As the soldiers headed towards the bank, Lorraine had just finished making a duplicate of the second key when the bank director came to escort her out. In the rush, she forgot to put the real key back. The team decided that Lorraine would give the key to Tom, who would then return it to the vault. Tom went up to the 3rd floor, placed the key back, and closed the vault, but then realized a guard was entering the room. Thinking quickly, Tom deliberately got caught and pretended he didn't hear the security alarm because of his earphones. The guard believed him and let him go, and their mission was accomplished. Later, when Tom reviewed the scan from the machine, he noticed that part of the vault's layout was unclear. He realized that the vault was filled with water, The vault was actually built on a balance, and as soon as the vault's weight changed upon opening, it would automatically lock and fill with water. The team now understood that to enter the vault, they needed to keep the weight balanced. Tom worked day and night to figure out a way to maintain the balance, while Simon and James investigated the ground beneath the bank. They confirmed that the vault was indeed built on a large balance, but its weight was perfectly balanced at 0. Additionally, they faced another challenge. The walls of the underground room were made of titanium steel, which would take 15 days to drill through. With very little time to complete their mission, Walter's team realized that stealing the box and escaping in such a short time seemed impossible, so they decided to give up. Disheartened, Walter went up to the roof and saw a crowd of football fans in the streets. His gaze then fell on the bank's camera, and he realized that during the World Cup finals, all the cameras would be focused on the crowd. A light bulb went off in his head, and he demonstrated his plan to his teammates. He removed the glass and sprayed liquid nitrogen on the balance before replacing the glass. This time, the balance didn't shift because it had frozen. Tom suggested that they could similarly freeze the balance beneath the vault, but it would require a lot of liquid nitrogen. They decided to execute their plan on the day of the football match between Spain and the Netherlands. They had only 105 minutes to complete the mission. First, they reached the bank's roof using a zip line and entered through a glass window. After navigating a 100-meter-long pipe, they reached the room outside the vault. They climbed down a ladder and finally stood before the vault. Klaus showcased his hacking skills, and the team used the 2 keys and the fingerprint they had obtained to open the vault. Meanwhile, Simon began spraying liquid nitrogen on the balance beneath the vault, causing the ground to freeze. Inside, the team searched for the box, but the bank's security team discovered the open window on the roof and rushed toward the vault. Lorraine found the box, but then something shocking happened. James was revealed to be an undercover agent. Greed overtook him, and he decided to betray his team and take the box for himself. Lorraine had no choice but to hand over the box to James. However, before he could escape, the liquid nitrogen's effect on the balance below wore off, triggering the vault's security system. Tom, Lorraine, and James were trapped inside the vault as it quickly began to fill with water. Since James was a former soldier and knew how to swim, he escaped with the box. The security chief declared an emergency, and his men rushed towards the vault with weapons. Meanwhile, the water level in the vault rose rapidly, putting Tom and Lorraine's lives in danger as they could drown at any moment. With no other options, Tom had a sudden idea and instructed Simon to add more weight to the balance, making the system think that the vault was completely filled with water. Simon quickly placed all the nitrogen tanks on the balance, but it still wasn't enough. Finally, he placed his radio on top, which added just enough weight. Suddenly, according to the system, the water began to drain out of the vault. The soldiers were about to catch the thieves red-handed, but when they opened the door, they were shocked to find the vault empty. Tom and Lorraine had escaped through the drain pipes and reached the upper floors of the bank. The soldiers and guards chased after them, but Lorraine remembered that the director always kept the window open in the room where she had scanned the paintings. Without wasting any time, they jumped out of the window, landing in the middle of the crowd of thousands of football fans. They quickly removed their jackets and blended into the crowd. Their pursuers were closing in, and it seemed they would be caught. Just as they were about to surrender to the police, Spain won the match, and the fans went wild with joy. In the chaos, the soldiers lost track of Tom and Lorraine, allowing them to escape. A few days later, James handed the stolen box over to his boss, who found a clue to a treasure inside, the location of the Eiffel Tower. It then dawned on them that Walter's team had tricked them. In the end, it was revealed that Tom and Lorraine had swapped the real box with a fake one, so James had stolen the wrong one. Meanwhile, Walter's team was relaxing at a resort when they discovered the true location of the treasure. It was hidden in the Bank of England. With that, they prepared for yet another mission. So, how did you like the story? Let me know in the comments, and I'll see you in the next video.